No, 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 no. It should be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, especially Saturday thing, because I need a double portion. So that
Yes.
way I can pour out whatever my overflow is on
Yes. On
Sunday. And I think
Sunday.
that's important.
And and I'm like you said, I'm tired of going to church services and being a spectator. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the spectator worship culture. I want to be a
Mm-hmm.
participator in what God is doing. And I want to
Right.
experience the power of God. Yeah, but you
Mm-hmm.
can't have the power without the presence. And so
Truth.
often I'm going into rooms and there's no presence. It's just production. And I'm like,
That part.
I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. I want the presence. I want
No.
the power of God, because that's what's going to change us.
Thanks so much, Paul, for joining me today for this interview. I was very excited to interview you, and I really was looking forward to our conversation for this podcast because you are just incredible. Number one, you are a worship leader yourself in your own right. Your wife is a worship leader. You're also a producer, and I know that firsthand because you produced my first and only album that I've ever put out. And that's just saying something. But I remember even meeting you for the first time and like us connecting. And I'm like, I could see me being friends with him for a very long time. And so that was, oh my God, how long was that?
Oh, probably 5, 6 years ago now, I
Yeah,
think.
it's
It's been
crazy.
a while.
It's crazy. It was,
Yeah.
I know it was before the pandemic. It was before the pandemic because you
Yeah.
had moved
Oh,
out to West
okay.
Michigan.
Yep.
And because I was thinking about recording that album,
Mm-hmm.
and then the pandemic happened, and then the world just went to shreds. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
but
And I was
yeah,
at
it's been a
KCC
long
at that
time.
time, right? I think I was interning there, and
You was interning there. I was also interning at KCC, and that's where
yes.
we met. But you were there for like a hot second.
Yeah, I was there for a little longer than a year. I think my internship was a year, but I was there for like a couple of years. Yeah.
Got you. Got you.
So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. I'm very excited to have you on. So let's just start with telling our audience just a little bit about yourself and what you do and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah. So, like you said, I've been a worship leader, pastor now for about 5 years full time, and then I do production on the side basically, and I just do that as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean it's probably part time, but sometimes it feels like it's full time. Doing the production on the side. It just depends on how many people need projects produced and edited and all that. So, that workflow certainly comes and goes. But yeah, the worship pastor part of it, yeah, it's been full time here at the same church for a little over 5 years now, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And how do you like that? Which aspect of that do you like the most, worship leading?
Yeah, I'd say my favorite part about it is honestly the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So just developing a team here of musicians, and people that feel like they're a part of something. That's definitely one of my favorite things about it. Also, I mean, I just love music. And the fact that I
Yeah.
get to do this for a living, like I get to stand up every Sunday and worship God and play music and make money doing that. I mean, it just blows my mind when I think about it.
Right.
And so, I mean, I honestly couldn't see myself doing anything else, frankly. God just kind of took my passions and my skills and he just put it in this job. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I
And
didn't
it,
even
it
think it
really is.
existed. Yeah,
It really
yeah,
is. I
yeah.
haven't been down there to sing for you in a while,
I
so we
know,
need
I
to get that
know.
together.
You need to.
But I
Yeah,
remember talking about like flexibility and how to be flexible and just think on your feet, when you're
yeah,
leading worship.
yeah.
Do you remember that one Sunday? You probably already know where I'm going with this.
I
That
do.
one Sunday we rehearsed and it was sounding
uh,
so good. Everything was working. And
yeah,
like 15 minutes before the service starts, the
yeah.
power goes out.
Everything went down. Yeah,
And we could
speakers.
not
Yeah.
get it to come back on.
No, no. Our main, basically, computer that powered everything at that time just crashed. Just gave out, and so we lost our speakers, we lost our lyrics, we lost everything basically that
Lost
morning.
everything.
We had lights, that was
Yeah.
about it, and so we had literally just play an acoustic set with nothing plugged in. No
Mm-hmm.
vocals, no acoustic guitar, nothing.
Yep.
But honestly, to this day, people tell me how much they appreciated that Sunday. I mean, they're like,
Yes.
that was really great. Just to
It
hear
really
everybody
worked.
sing, it worked well. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it every Sunday, but
No, absolutely not.
but yeah, we just had to think on our feet.
Like I remember the moment that it happened, like the power went out, and then I'm
Hmm.
thinking, okay, they're going to get this figured out. And then like 5 minutes later, now it's about 10 minutes before the service. I'm
Yeah.
thinking they're not going to get this figured out in
No,
time.
no, I know.
And so like you were just running around the place. You were busy with that. And so I kind of um just took over. I didn't
Yeah,
mean to, but I kind
yeah,
of just took over.
yeah,
And I'm like, grab some chairs, like grab some water
yeah.
bottles. Like we're going to make this seem like we intended to do an acoustic set the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you would have never said, or the pastor would have never got up and said that the power was out, I don't feel like anybody would have known.
Probably not. I mean, what I learned from that experience is like it's better to just try to come up with something different on the spot than try to fix it.
Hmm.
Because
Right.
like, like you said, we were 6 minutes until the service started. We still didn't have
Hmm.
anything fixed. It's like, okay, let's come up with a different plan now. Let's stop trying to fix it.
Hmm.
And that's what you did. You were like, hey, let's pivot and do something different.
Yeah.
And to this day, because that actually happened to us a couple weeks ago, not all the
Oh,
power, but some of it went out.
okay.
And we just had a plan and we just executed that plan and it was a lot better. So
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, I grew up. Well, you know this. I grew up in a small church, and stuff like this happened all the time, right?
Yep,
And one of the
yep.
things that we did consistently was have tent revivals, and so
Oh
we would,
yeah,
in the parking lot, we'd put the tent up, and so you got all your sound and all your equipment outside and
oh
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
But regularly, like something would happen, the power would go out. I even remember one time mid set, like I am up there and I am leading worship in the parking lot. It is sweltering hot.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's hot.
yeah, yeah.
And so talk about being on fire for Jesus, because we was out there. And the power, like it just go, I don't even know what happened. Nobody knew what
Mm,
happened. Like I
mm,
don't know if a fuse blew or what, but the power just completely shut off. And luckily the
mm.
sun wasn't down yet. It's one of those like late um summer Michigan days where the sun is out until like
Yeah,
9 or 10
9:30.
o'clock.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it was just like the power went out, and like
Mm,
we just kept clapping and singing, and then that's how it went. And so
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I can appreciate people who have been there and just know how to think on their feet and then do
yes,
something different.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
scary. It's always scary. You don't know what to do, and you will be upset about it. You will be frustrated
oh
about
yeah,
it because we put a
yeah,
lot of time
yeah,
and
yeah.
rehearsal into that set.
I know. And that
But
was like
thank
one
God
of
for
the
you guys' 3 services.
I know, yeah. And that was one of your only Sundays, I think, singing here with me. And of course,
Yes.
the Sunday that you were here, everything broke
Yes.
down.
Yep. That was there was it was a long while before that particular Sunday and after that that I was
Right.
ever
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that the Sunday that I was there that happened. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably my most favorite memory
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
singing and leading worship with you. Just that happening and
Yeah.
just seeing you move and operate and think on your feet, trying to get
Yeah.
it together, and
Yeah.
me figuring out how I could help with that. And everybody, really, everybody, every team member, every band member who was there, we all were trying to figure out, okay, how can we best help?
Yeah.
Where can we fit in? And we were still prepared, right? We were
Hmm.
prepared and we were very flexible
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to just follow your lead wherever you went. Like that's where we were going.
Yeah, and stuff like that happens pretty much every Sunday. There's tech that doesn't
Yeah.
work, somebody doesn't show
Hmm.
up, somebody calls in, and
Hmm.
I mean, part of the job is okay. How can we make the best with what we have?
Right.
Yeah, we only have half a team. This is not working, but how can we still make it good?
Right.
Even with
Right.
what we do have.
Right.
I have to do that every week, pretty much.
I will say that as a side note too. Like one of the things that I've always loved about you, which is why when I was producing that first record, I was like, I've got to be there with Paul. Like I've got to be in the studio with Paul, is because you know how to make the best out of a little,
Yeah.
and you are
Hmm.
always challenging me. Like that's definitely one of my first memories of us just singing together and being on stage together. Like
Hmm.
you were very challenging. Like
Mm.
I know you got it there. I know you can do it, and
Hmm.
you're very soft spoken,
Hmm.
but your
Hmm.
soft spoken is definitely like that Michigan nice nasty, where it's like I'm saying it nice, but what I really mean is,
You can
and
do
it's
it.
like, yeah, people who can pick up on that,
Yeah, yeah,
obviously are always successful, but
yeah.
producers like you who can really give that and push
Mm,
people, and challenge them to think outside of the box or go further than, they've gone before, they think they
yeah,
can go. I think that's what we need, like, especially in the space of gospel or contemporary Christian music. Like, we
yeah,
need people
yeah.
who are just that passionate, just that able and capable of pushing people past your limit.
Yeah, exactly. And, part of it is my perfectionism a little bit. And I've had to learn, okay, I'm trying to achieve excellence, but I don't need to be perfect. And
Right.
so there does come a point where I just have to kind of be content with how it sounds, whatever it may
Yeah.
be. If it's a Sunday morning or if it's, in the studio with a client, it's like, okay, it sounds good. And we just need to be content with this.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we don't strive to be excellent, and to
Right. That's
use what we
true.
have, to do the best we can. So yeah,
That's true. I want to ask something else before I like jump into the rest of
yeah,
the content here. Um, I'm running Core. We got our business. That was the name of our business, Core.
right,
And I had talked to you about it. And
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, we're doing accounting. That's all we're doing. We're just doing accounting.
oh right, yeah.
What was your face? Like, what was your, Lawrence, you're insane, when I came to you and I'm like, Paul, this client, they really want us to do this TV show.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
And I need you to help.
I honestly just wanted to make it happen. I was like, well, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because we made all these connections in the beginning with that radio
Yeah.
station, and we were able to use a lot of their
Mm-hmm.
equipment, and it turned into a huge learning process for me because I had never recorded something like that.
Right. For
Uh,
all of us.
yeah, and thankfully we had somebody to help us, with the video portion of it because all I had known up to that point is the audio,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just kind of my specialty. That's what I've done for years. But to add in that video component, it was like, okay, I got to learn a lot in a small amount of time to make this happen,
Yes.
and
And all of us were learning so much
yeah,
in just a short amount of time from everything. And I really appreciated that experience because
yeah,
we were
me
all
too.
acting outside of our comfort zone.
Yeah, yeah, and
And
learning
even my
from each
business
other.
partner was like, Lawrence, you're crazy. He's crazy. If that's what he wants us to do, he's crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
And then I started to think about it, and I'm like, I think I know enough people who know enough where maybe we're just crazy enough to pull this off.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
what better like resource to tap into sometimes than a worship leader or like a musician who
yeah,
is used to
yeah.
having to create usually
Mm,
something from nothing,
mm-hmm.
from having the
Yeah.
bare minimum to making it something grand.
And they're likely to have, a general idea of technology, and
Right.
cameras and audio. I mean, if they're a worship leader, they're going to be in that kind of zone most of the time.
Right.
So you can kind of expect that they have that base knowledge already.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah. And so it's funny because that's what I love about you and your personality. If somebody asks you, you just say, okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
And
I don't know. I'm figuring it out. I'm praying
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Like you don't say I can't do it. You just make
No.
a way. And I love that about you.
Hmm. Okay. Now let's get to the content where I really want to talk about, and I'm very excited actually about. Number one,
Okay.
who are you listening to right now? Like, who is your number one artist?
Hmm.
Either secular
Wow.
or Christian, whichever way you want to go. Who's your number one artist?
Okay. Oh gosh, that's a hard question to answer.
I know, right?
Yeah. So right now, a song I'm obsessed with. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's called "Daddy's DNA" by Brandon
Daddy's
Lake.
DNA.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
by Brandon Lake. He just released it. And I've just been like listening to that on repeat lately. A lot of his other music, I'm not, a huge fan of. I like a lot of his work, but some of it I'm like, eh. But this song in particular is really good, and I've really been enjoying it.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So it's funny because you have like the worship CCM, you know, genre, and then you have like these solo artists coming out, right? Like a Brandon Lake,
Right.
Lauren Daigle.
Right.
I can
Mm-hmm.
think of so many right now. And then you have gospel, which is different. And then you have gospel artists that are
Oh,
kind of on their own. You know what I mean?
right.
So I'd say within worship, I do love Elevation Worship. I love a lot of their
Okay.
music. I love a lot of what they do. Um, the Belonging Co. I listen to a lot of them. I've been listening
Okay.
to a lot of Gateway Worship.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Out of Texas, man, they got some good stuff. And yeah,
Um,
yeah,
oh, I can't. Oh, how can I forget his name? I don't know if he's still the worship leader down there, but he
yeah.
definitely used to be the worship leader.
Uh-huh.
Is his name Michael?
Oh yeah, yeah. Michael Bethany, I think.
Yes, Michael
Yes.
Bethany.
Yeah.
Michael Bethany. First of all, amazing voice.
Dude, he's
Just
so
he's
good.
incredible.
He's so good. Yeah.
But it only makes sense when you realize that Michael Bethany used to sing background for Fred Hammond.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Well,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Totally
come on.
understandable then. Yeah, yeah.
And I remember like hearing one of his records for the first time, and I'm like, oh my God, this man is amazing. And of course,
Yeah.
I like to do my deep dive. I want to know everything.
Yep, yep.
And when I found out, and the ironic thing is, I was watching Speak Those Things, Fred Hammond, his live album record. Not, I don't think it was a live album recording, or maybe it was. It
Okay.
probably was the live album recording. I was watching that on YouTube, anyways.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I see his face in the background, and I'm like, hold on,
Mm,
hold on, because
mm.
this can't possibly be the same
Wow,
person.
and
And
it
then come to find
was.
out, it's literally the same person. And
I
I'm like,
I bet he was a lot
whoa.
younger at that time, I imagine.
Yeah, he was a lot
Yeah,
younger, but I mean, he
yeah.
still got the face. He still had the face.
Oh yeah, sure,
And I'm
sure.
just like, that is incredible. The
Yeah.
fact that him and as an extra side note, Joanne Rosario,
Mm,
who is a amazing singer and a solo artist in
mm,
her own right. The fact that like
mm.
both of those people became very successful in what they're doing, and they were both singing background for Fred Hammond. I think it's just a testament that
Yeah,
sometimes you're in the back is where you start, but it's definitely
absolutely.
not like where you end up in the long run.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm thinking of an R&B singer right now. One of the most popular. Oh, I just can't think of his name. He's a little bit heavier set, but he used to be a background singer. I just watched a documentary on him recently, and he was a background singer for basically his whole life. And then he was doing a little
Hmm.
production on the side, and then, but he always had the best voice, like out of everybody in the group. And then over
Hmm.
time, he started to release his own music, and then he became huge.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he started in the background and then he just worked his
Yeah.
way up. And,
Just work your way up.
that's how you get
Just
good.
that's how you get good.
Yeah.
That's how you learn. Okay, so that's very interesting, and
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear you say who your number one artist is right now.
I'd say
Especially
I have another one too, if you don't
okay,
mind me sharing. So I really like what Forrest Frank is doing. I don't know if
Forrest Frank.
yeah, heard of him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's doing a lot of kind of contemporary pop, Christian music a
Okay.
little bit, but it has like more of a hip hop feel to it. It's really good. Yeah. So I've really enjoyed that a lot lately.
Okay. Now,
It's
would
different.
see you're going from church over there to that pop. I don't know. Is your save? Do I need to get my oil? No, I'm just playing. That's how the church be sometimes. If they
I
see you
know.
going up over
I
there,
know.
that's how they be.
Yeah. I know. No.
So no, that's
Yeah.
that's interesting. Who
Yeah.
is like if you could sing with one of them,
Yeah.
who would you choose?
100% it would be Chris Brown from Elevation Worship.
Chris.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
that guy. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yes. Of course, I know
Yeah.
who that is. Yep.
CB. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I just, I've been listening to him for years since I became a worship leader. And I
Yeah.
feel like I kind of emulate him a little bit. I try to, just because I think the way he leads is so impactful.
Yeah.
And, I watch a lot of content by him. And yeah,
He's
so
also a really good writer.
he is, he's an amazing writer. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, he has, a lot of really good writers around him as well, and I
Hmm.
think that helps. But yeah, he's incredible and
Yeah.
just such a humble guy. And I'd love to meet him one day.
For me, if I'm singing with somebody, um, it'll have to be Chandler Moore, of course. But the thing is, right? And I've never said this, but people say this
Yeah.
that like our voices are just too similar.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
too similar. Um,
They
and
are
I don't
very
think I
similar.
noticed that
Yeah.
until I sung Champion. You are my
Oh,
champion.
yeah.
And somebody was playing that clip back. It was at KCC. Somebody was playing that clip back for me. And I'm like, no, I'll never be able to sing with Chandler Moore because
Yeah.
because it's like, you never want guys or even like female artists, right? If their voices are too close,
Yeah.
if they're
Right.
both sopranos or if they're both altos,
Yeah.
you're not going to have them together. It
Right.
doesn't
Right.
make any
I
sense.
love that guy though. He is so good. Oh
He's
my
amazing.
gosh. Yeah. The way he
He is
leads,
amazing.
great vocalist, great songwriter.
Hmm.
Yeah, just the way he engages the audience when he leads is just
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he bridges the gap. Like he definitely can fit with a contemporary Christian crowd. And then of course he sings a lot, in gospel circles.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
can go to a white church and a black church, and everybody at both churches know who Chandler Moore is. And I
100%.
think that is
Yeah.
just a testament to like just what God is doing in his life and what his ministry is all about and how it's impacting the kingdom
Yeah.
by bridging
Yeah.
that gap and
Yeah.
bringing people together.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
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 Okay. So before I get to what your way of getting prepared for Sunday, I
Oh,
do want to play a
yeah.
little game with you.
Okay. I'm down.
The game is you have to choose one of the artists,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna give you categories. I'm gonna also give you artists. You got to
Okay.
choose one. Now, there is a caveat. There's a house rule.
Mm-hmm.
If you decide, you can substitute only one of those names, but you still have to choose. Okay,
Okay.
you ready?
I can do that.
All
I
right.
think.
So this is a contemporary Christian artist versus game, and right now we
Mm.
are looking at worship anthems.
Mm.
Okay,
Hmm.
Chris Tomlin or Matt Redman.
Oh, bro, for sure. Chris Tomlin.
Okay, yeah, of course.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
I mean, we like Matt Redman.
yeah, he's okay. Honestly,
Yeah,
though, I haven't played probably any of his music in a church context ever.
Matt
It,
Redman.
yeah, I don't think maybe 10,000 Reasons, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Matt Redman. I believe so.
I I can see that. Now that I'm
Yeah,
thinking about it,
yeah. Chris
I
Tomlin.
don't remember the last time I saw the Matt Redman
Think about
song.
"Holy Forever." I mean, that's just become an anthem.
That's just blowing up.
That's such a good song, And CeCe
It
Winans
is
did it.
blowing up.
Obviously, she took it even further.
She took it even further. Did you hear him singing
Whew.
at the White House?
I didn't know.
We ain't gonna talk about that, but they got this
Wow.
video out where they was having this like worship concert, at the White House.
No way.
Or this, I don't know if it was a concert. I shouldn't say that. Anyways, they were
Mm-hmm.
singing the song at the White House.
Woo.
Room full of white people.
Mm.
Come on now. Come on.
Were they just standing there
I'm just like
looking at their feet? Yeah.
Anyways, I do think it's notable.
Yeah.
That song though, that anthem for Chris Tomlin, "Holy
Mm.
Forever," that song was stuck around for a very long time. Just
Oh, for
like
sure.
as many of his other songs will as well. But that song is definitely that's a hitter right there.
I mean, think about how great is our God? Like that song,
Mm-hmm.
he wrote that so long ago, and it's
So
still an
long
anthem.
ago.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
crazy.
All right. Let's go for vocal range. This time we're going
Yeah.
over to the female artist.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Daigle or Carrie Joby?
Gary Joe, for sure. Yeah, in terms of
Really?
vocal range. Yeah, Lauren Daigle has more of an alto voice. I don't know if you listen to a lot of her music, but she can sing high, but I think
Yeah.
her range is lower. And Carrie
I see.
Job, I mean, she's a soprano. She can sing
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
high. Yeah.
She's somebody to be reckoned with. So, okay.
Yeah.
That does make sense. What was Carrie's last
Mm.
song? Like what was the last hit?
She did like The Dove, I think it's called. That's a pretty good song
She
by
gives you
her.
the dove.
Yeah. But like
But I'm thinking,
forever, forever is glorified.
yes. So she did do that one. Wasn't it her on I can't remember it, but I promise you I will as soon as we're done talking.
Oh.
She actually did a mashup. It was two songs together. And I can't think of it right now, but she actually did a mashup that was actually really good, and people were singing that everywhere. But watch, I think of it later on. Okay, let's move to Christian pop.
Okay.
I think I already know what you're going to say up on this one. Are you going with For King and Country or Toby Mac?
Oof. Like in terms of what I like more?
Yeah, Christian pop. Who are you voting for?
Who am I voting
King
for?
and Country.
I would say probably Toby Mac. To be honest, I don't like
Okay.
either of them.
Really? Talk to me about
Okay.
it. Why? What they ever do to you?
I like Toby Mac. I mean,
Okay.
his older music is great. A lot of his newer
Okay.
music, in my opinion, is pretty sappy. I just can't really get behind it. I mean, I love the message, but the
Right.
production, the melodies, just a little sappy, in my opinion.
I see.
For King and Country, I've never liked their music. I mean, I don't like a single song they put out, honestly.
Really?
Just being honest, yeah,
Oh my Lord.
yeah. I don't really like the voices, the songwriting, the song, um, productions. Just not a huge fan. That's just my opinion.
I'm shocked. I'm legit shocked. What is the one song from King and Country that we all is it King Forever?
Let me look that up really quick.
You are the only king
No,
forever. Are
that's
they the ones who
Elevation
sing that?
Worship.
That's oh my Lord.
Yeah, yeah,
Well then I don't know.
yeah. They have
For
done
King and Country does sing one song
God Only
that I like.
Knows.
I really
God
like.
only knows what you done done. God only knows.
I don't think it's out.
Okay.
But they do sing. They sing one song that I know I really like.
Hmm.
Okay, so that's interesting. But I
Yeah.
definitely and fully expect you to pick Toby Mac. I think Toby Mac would be the one for me too. Um,
Yeah.
and only because Toby Mac, I had never heard of Toby Mac until he was on a Kirk Franklin
Oh, right. He
record.
does a lot of gospel. Yeah, and I love that
Yep,
part of his
him
music
and
a
Kirk
lot.
Franklin did a song on Kirk Franklin's album. I wanted it was a Hero, or maybe it was the one before
Hmm.
that.
Okay.
And I thought that it
Yeah.
was great. But that's the first time I ever heard of Toby Mac, and then of course I started looking
Yeah.
into his
No, he's
music, and I was
good.
like,
He's super
yeah,
talented. Great producer. Yeah.
yes, he's amazing at what he does.
Hmm.
All right, I think I know where you're going up on this one with a worship ballad. Natalie
Mm.
Grant versus Carrie Joey again.
Okay. I would say I like Natalie Grant a little bit
Hmm.
more. Yeah. I just kind of like the sound of her voice. I mean, I'm just being honest here. Carrie
Yeah,
Job, I mean, she has incredible range. Just not a huge fan of her tone. I love Natalie Grant. She's
Natalie
amazing.
Grant.
She's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
I
she's a
mean,
living
she
legend,
can
if you ask
do
me.
gospel. I mean, she can sing anything, really. She's so
Right.
good. Yeah.
I saw her once. She came to Grand Rapids, and the church that I was going to at the time,
Uh huh.
she was a guest there. They were doing some sort of TV show. I don't know, but yes, I got to meet her, and she was so sweet, just so
Oh
nice,
yeah.
just so
Yeah.
hi. I don't know.
Right.
They could be
Right.
putting it on for show.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
either way, she definitely makes you feel like you're welcome, you're loved, you feel comfortable. But in terms of worship ballads, of course, I think I will go with Natalie Grant too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
She's so
is there a
good.
gospel artist that like you feel like she could collab with, that she could really just like,
I feel like a Kirk Franklin, honestly.
yeah,
I think she has the vocal chops, but he doesn't really feature a lot of female singers. He does a lot of
or female contemporary
choirs.
Christian singers?
Oh, definitely not that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that would be cool to hear. Yeah.
I think Natalie Grant and Tasha Cobbs Leonard on the stage together
Oh my
would be
gosh,
a
dude.
riot.
Oh my gosh. That'd be incredible. Yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would be a riot. Now, exactly where both of them would fit, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
cannot hear one song where I'm just like, they would sound great.
Yeah. Maybe
No, exactly where both of them would fit, no. But
you
if
know
there's a
my
ticket
name.
with Tasha Cobbs Leonard and Natalie Grant, I'll pay top dollar for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. What about the song "You Know My Name"? I think that would be a good one for them to sing.
Oh,
It's a
you're
little bit
right.
slower.
It's a little bit
It
slower,
has that ballad
but
feel.
yes, that will 100% be good for Natalie Grant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think so.
yeah. The problem with You Know My Name, honestly, is that it's just Tasha Cobbs Leonard. It's
Mm,
who can sing that? But
yeah,
after she sung it, I
yeah.
was like, I don't know if God know my name because I can't, I can't, I can't do it like that. I can do something different, but I can't do it like that.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't know if anybody can do it quite like her, but if anybody could get close, I think it would be Natalie Grant. Yeah,
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
I like that. A
She could get
closeness.
close.
We're looking for progression, not perfection here. Okay.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. All right. Southern rock influence. You listen to any Southern rock, by the way?
Yeah, I listen. Yeah, I do. Yeah,
Okay. Zach Williams versus Crowder. Do you know?
yeah, I do. I like. Okay, so the David Crowder band.
Okay.
Just love, what he did back in the day with that band specifically. A lot of his solo work now, not such a huge fan of. So if we're talking about the David Crowder Band, yes.
Okay.
But Zach Williams, yeah, I like a couple of his songs. Yeah, if I had to compare them right now, I think I would choose probably David Crowder. I just have a longer history with him. I like his music. So
Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
I'm gonna go with Zach Williams because I'm very
Okay,
biased. My last name is Williams. Is Zach Williams,
that's
so
right.
we
That's
must
true.
be cousins or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. You're related for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Christmas albums. Do you listen to a lot of Christmas
Oof,
albums?
I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is my one scandalous admission.
Okay.
I do not like Christmas music. I said it.
Okay. So, what
I
about
said it.
Christmas music don't you like?
During the time of the year, of the Lord's year, where I must hear Frank Sinatra and his Christmas music,
Oof. Yeah.
I'd
It's not
rather
great.
have headphones on 24/7
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm just like I cannot I don't know I don't really know what it is, but I have just never really been a fan of Christmas music. Now,
Hmm.
I will say this. There are some Christmas songs and Christmas albums that for me are on repeat even in July.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Sure.
I will say that. Fred Hammond's Christmas album, repeat. Lettucey's Christmas album,
Yeah.
repeat.
Yeah.
Half of Mary Mary's Christmas album, repeat in
Mm,
July.
mm,
Amazing. And of course, I cannot fail to mention the one and only the great Kenny Lattimore.
mm,
Come on now. You
mm.
can listen to him at any moment.
I
Any
got.
song he's singing,
What
I listen
about
to.
PJ Morton, dude? He has an amazing Christmas album,
Oh, of course. Of
dude.
course.
It's so
And
good.
PJ Morton, he from Flint,
Yes, he
so
is. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
So
So you gotta
anybody
listen.
from Michigan, I support.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, PJ Morton he's incredible.
Oh, yeah. His piano
So
chops, his
versatile,
vocal
so
chops.
flexible.
Yeah. He
Yes.
can do it all, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah.
All of it.
He's so
All
good.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Christmas albums. Amy Grant versus
Mm.
Lauren Daigle.
Yeah, definitely Lauren Daigle. She has
Yeah.
a jazz Christmas album that's really incredible. I don't know if you've listened to it before.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, I like jazz Christmas music mainly. A lot of the traditional music, it's fine. I might listen to it on Christmas Day, but that's about it. But yeah, the jazz, I mean, I really love that. And Lauren Daigle does a great job with her album. So I'd have
I
to
might
go
have
with
to check
that.
that out
It's good. Yeah, it's different.
because I do love me some jazz.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it was recorded live. So it has that really
Oh.
cool live feel to it a little bit. And yeah, and it's good.
Mm.
She has a nice
This leads
warm
me
voice.
to another question.
Okay.
One that I'm very curious.
Yeah.
Think of your favorite like live recorded album. What is that?
Oh,
Or don't give me the favorite, just give me the top.
yeah. Well, it's hard to pick because if you think about it right now, all worship music is basically recorded live.
Right.
I
Because they
mean,
need that crowd.
well, they produce it in the studio beforehand a little bit, and then they
Right.
record it, in person, and then they do post production. So
Mhm.
there's a lot that goes on. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say. I mean, I love all the worship music that is coming out right now, and all that is recorded live. Um, yeah, I'll have to think on that one a little bit.
Yeah,
Nothing is
think on
coming to
that one. And
mind.
we'll come back to that one.
Yeah, that's
I
tough.
think for me, somebody who doesn't get enough recognition, at least in the gospel space,
Hmm.
Jeffrey Golden,
Mm.
his first album, he was a contender on Sunday's Best,
Mm.
and his first album was recorded live, and
Oh, okay.
it's amazing. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
every song up on there is just incredible, and one of his songs. Actually, I was just singing at a church about a month ago.
Hmm.
One of his songs, and the video for that on YouTube is live,
Mm.
and it's amazing. Like he's in his element. Like he's
Mm.
that when every time I watch him and listen to him, I just think and I believe to myself, I can sense, I can feel
Mm.
this man was created to do just that.
Mm.
Like there's some people you can listen to sing and you be like, oh yeah, you nice, you got that, and then there's some people you listen to and you're like, if you don't do
Mm.
this,
Mm.
there is no other reason for your existence.
You know,
And I'm like,
that's
God
so
has just
true.
gifted you, he has created you, he has formed you, and
Yeah,
he has shaped
yeah,
you to do just this in ways that you just don't see enough of.
right.
I kind of feel that
Yeah,
way about Kalante Gavin too in the gospel space. Like, I mean,
yeah.
Kalante Gavin is just Kalante Gavin.
Mm.
Good grief. And it's
Hmm.
like, if that boy, if he is not doing that,
Mm.
he ain't going to work at Amazon. Like,
Right. Yeah,
what
yeah,
else should he be doing besides that? Like,
yeah,
that is what you want to do when you're recording something live.
yeah.
You want to
Right,
be there. You want to
right,
be in that space.
right.
And Jeffrey Golden has a way in every single setting of just
Mm.
bringing that out. And I appreciate that about him.
Yeah, Smokey Norfolk comes to mind for
Of
me.
course. I
Yeah,
know you
I mean,
love Smoky
I do.
Norfolk.
I just love his voice. I'm like, bro, if he's not singing,
Yeah.
what should he be doing? I mean, that's what he should be
Right.
doing. Yeah.
What's your favorite Smoky Norfolk song?
I was actually just pulling it up. God is able, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
I go back and forth between I understand.
Okay.
I am the Lord I see, and yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Between that and no one else can receive the glory.
Oh,
I go between both of those
yeah,
as my
yeah.
favorite.
Have you sang a lot of his music in a church setting? I mean, I know it's
Oh, 100%.
difficult. I mean, some of it is like
It's difficult. No,
very
you can't
hard.
do it. First of
Yeah,
all, bring me
yeah.
down a couple of keys.
Yeah. Well,
um,
and his voice, his runs are so clean. That's what I love about his voice. Like, a lot of gospel artists, they have amazing runs, but I feel
mhm.
like he does the best job with executing them. They're just so clean. You can hear
Yes.
every single note when he does a run, and I'm just like,
Perfectly
perfectly
placed.
placed. Yeah,
And he has a way of just like blending it all together. One of
yeah, yeah,
the songs
yeah.
that I really love, that I really think he goes from the top to the bottom and just all the
Mm,
way in between,
mm,
is his song "Justified."
mm.
Justify
Okay.
me, glorify me.
Yeah,
That whole song. I mean, he's flipping, he's running, he's hollering, all of that, and it fits so perfectly,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it makes you want to shout. It definitely evokes an emotional reaction,
Oh, yeah,
but you
for sure.
also feel like, and I believe this, not that I've seen any interviews or anything, um, but I believe you also feel like he's telling his story.
Mm, mm.
Like, he is putting his life into that song.
Yeah,
He is telling his story. Like, he actually believes what he's saying,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he's preaching it at the same time in a way where it's like it's connecting. It is taking you to a place where you definitely want to go in the
yeah,
presence of God,
yeah,
and at the same
yeah,
time reminding you of who God is,
yeah,
and
yeah.
making you humble yourself
Right.
in the
Yeah,
presence of God, and with the Word of God. And I've always appreciated that about him.
yeah. And I just love the excellence he brings, to vocalizing. And I think
Hmm.
there's a lot of worship leaders that don't really train their voices as much as I think they should.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm
like,
one of them.
well, you don't need to, brother, because you just got an
No,
amazing gift. Yeah.
I want some singing lessons. So if anybody out there does singing lessons, call me, please.
Yeah.
Call me.
Um, well, I mean, I've just heard a lot of, worship leaders. I'm like, this is your instrument. This is the
Hmm.
vehicle that you're using to usher people into the presence of God.
Yeah.
And, they're a little flippant about it. They're not disciplining their voice. They're not training it. They're not really trying to improve. And, people like Smokey Norfolk, it's like, he can do anything he wants with his voice. And it evokes that emotional response, like you said,
Hmm.
and without that, skill, it's kind of, I mean, you can still worship God. You can still be an amazing
Right.
worship leader if you have a subpar voice, but I think you should try to, make it, as good as you possibly can, just try to
Right.
cultivate that gift basically.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that he breaks over. I don't know really about the contemporary Christian space, but definitely
Yeah.
with R&B, in
Oh
large
yeah.
part because
Yeah.
Black folks, like, you grew up in the house and you listened to Smokey Norfolk.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
that was just it.
He was just
You
on.
was listening to
Yeah,
Smokey Norfolk, all the greats, right? The Fred
yeah.
Hammonds, the Marvin Sapp's, the
Yep.
Commission. That you listen to the Donnie McClurkins. You listen to Smokey Norfolk,
Hmm.
and like, so even in the R&B space, he does well
Mm.
with artists who either want to be on the stage with
Mm.
Smokey Norfolk,
Hmm.
or artists like, you go all over YouTube, these R&B artists, secular artists singing Smokey Norfolk
Mm.
songs.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I really like the fact that he has just been that impactful
Mm.
on the genre, on the movement, on the message of Jesus Christ,
Yeah, yeah,
to the point where we've got people who ain't going to church who know Smokey Norfolk and will
yeah,
listen to a Smokey Norfolk record
yeah,
like at
yeah.
any moment.
Yeah, and they can just appreciate his talent, even if it is
Hmm.
gospel music. They're like, yeah, that guy can sing, and they'll
Yeah.
just
Oh
listen
no,
to
that
it
guy
for
can
that
sing.
reason. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think of like Luther Vandross, for example, and
Amen.
I love that man. And
Yeah.
his voice is so different, obviously, but just obviously one of the best singers ever. And
I tell
yeah.
people when I get to heaven, the first thing I want to know, first of all, thank you, Jesus, for dying for my sins. I'm here now. Let's start the
Yeah,
choir.
let's start there.
Is Luther Vandross leading? Where do I
Oh
audition?
my gosh. I want to be in that choir. That's for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm worthy enough, but let me show up to
No.
the audition
Yeah.
for my
Maybe
poems.
in heaven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah,
And
like I really, I mean, he's just a legend in and of it,
yeah.
in and of himself,
Yeah.
and what he's able to do with it, just vocally. I wonder if I wonder what like a Smokey Norfolk would sound like singing a Luther
Yeah.
Vandross
And
song.
vice versa. Like that's what I was thinking about. Like
Right.
Luther didn't really do any gospel, and I wish he would have done more.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, we had to keep him out the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to keep
Yeah.
him out the church
He had some
because he was
issues.
singing, "I see us in the park." After he said that and got people pregnant, we had to keep him right on now.
He was good at that. He was
He
very
was
good at
good. He
that.
was real good. Okay, innovative worship style. I think you like this one. Brandon Lake
Hmm.
or Cody Carnes.
Yeah, definitely Brandon Lake. If you listen to Daddy's DNA, I encourage you to. It's very innovative. The way he approaches that song. It's like a country singer songwriter. Worship song. It's very very different. And I think Cody Carnes is more in that CCM. Kind of
Yeah,
standard. He fits in that box. Yeah.
there's a train again.
Yeah. Hear it in the background. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I would say Brandon Lake, he's a lot more innovative and creative these days than Cody Carnes. Yeah,
I like that.
but
I
they're
like
both
that.
great.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah,
And I do like Cody Carnes.
he's amazing.
Yeah, he's amazing, and I do think that in terms of just being able to capture a gospel art, I'm a gospel musician, I'm a gospel fan, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
always try to figure out
yeah,
how does this fit or how does this connect to gospel music or the gospel genre.
yeah.
And Cody Carnes, I feel like he's been able to do that in a way that I expected Brendan Lake to be able to do that, because
Mm,
it's Brendan Lake and he's been
mm.
singing right with Maverick City and
Yeah,
right all of these
elevation and yeah, yeah,
elevation.
yeah.
And I expected Brendan Lake to really break out in the gospel scene a
Hmm.
lot more. But it's not
Yeah,
uncommon, like for a black gospel like church band to know a Cody Carnes song
oh
and be
yeah,
able to play it.
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But what I don't like is that a lot of CCM. I mean, a more predominantly white church, they're probably not going to know a lot of gospel music.
Oh no.
Maybe none at all.
Right.
And
Right.
and I'm like, okay, so you go to a gospel church and they know a lot of the CCM music, but
Hmm.
not vice versa. I don't really get that.
Yeah.
and
I it's so sad. It's so
well,
sad.
and
But it takes
yeah,
people like you, like leaders at the forefront. What the DJ is to the hip hop genre or the R&B genre,
mm,
the worship
mm,
leader is to the contemporary Christian and the gospel genre.
yeah,
Like it
yeah,
takes people like you in those places who do
right,
listen to that music, who can bring that in, because a lot of times people who show up to church, that may be the only Christian or gospel song that they hear.
that's it. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so if they're not hearing it at church, which is unfortunate, but if
yeah,
they're not
yeah,
hearing it at church, they're not going to go home and put that on. They're not going to be listening to that in their cars.
Definitely
And
not.
that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, they're going to turn on, CCM music. I mean, they only play
Hmm.
like 4 artists, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
They're not
On
playing any
rotation.
gospel. Yeah. And
Hmm.
I think partly it could be because, I mean, gospel music is so complex musically.
Hmm.
And, maybe people are intimidated by that. But if you have the band, it's like, come on. Like,
Yeah.
the music is so good if you can pull it off. So it's
It's a
like,
challenge to people who've never
it is.
operated in that
Yeah.
space. I know
Yeah.
one of the things that I always get feedback on, like whenever I'm singing at a majority white church, um, especially if they're not used to gospel music,
Mm-hmm.
my ad libbing. And you know me, I'm go ad lib.
Mm. Mm.
I'm go ad
Mm.
lib and I'm go ad lib of the wazoo.
I love it.
And then one of the feedbacks that I always get is that, like, Lawrence, I don't know when I'm supposed to be singing or not. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm following, I don't know if I'm repeating after you. I don't know what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
then sometimes to the audience, it sounds like we just sound like banging cymbals, right? If I'm ad
Mm.
libbing and then right the background they're doing something different,
Mm-hmm.
it really their ears is just like, oh my god, it's so much going on all at once, and I don't know what I'm
Mm.
supposed to be listening to. I don't know what I'm supposed to be singing. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm supposed to be saying. And so a lot of times it's very hard for people who haven't been exposed to that, or maybe they have been and they just don't like it,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
really like bring that like gospel feel, gospel nuances into those kinds of spaces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for me that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. And you just got to start somewhere. It's like you have to do it, for them to get familiar with it. If you're not doing any of the music, if you're not ad libbing, if you don't have your background singers singing melody so you can ad lib,
Hmm.
then your
Hmm.
people aren't going to be used to it. You just have to
Right.
start introducing it. You have to start doing it. Like,
Hmm.
otherwise it's going to be foreign to them. So,
Right.
yeah. So,
That was one of my first experience. Not to be harping up on my fellow CRC church members, but
oh, yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Christian Reform. I didn't know, like, I I know Kojic, I know Baptist, I know
Uh-huh.
Pentecostal, I know Church of God, I know the Church of Our Lord, even know the Church of Christ. I didn't know
Yeah.
anything about CRC. And so
CRC.
when I got
Yeah.
invited out, I'm thinking, oh, this is great. It's a new experience,
Woof.
new denomination. And when I tell you, I went up in there and I was leading the first song. And I
Yeah.
don't know these people. They don't know me, right? We
Right.
don't know each other from Adam and Eve.
Right.
And I'm up in there and I'm leading the first song. And so we start to rehearse, and it was a Hezekiah Walker song. They really wanted I remember the worship leader there.
Wow.
She was like, I really want to bring this Hezekiah Walker song to our church. I
Wow.
really think our people will love it.
Yeah.
And I would like for you to sing it. And I'm like, Hezekiah Walker? I was like, okay, well, no problem. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking they got
Mm-hmm.
some sort of bass line, right? Some sort of
Yeah.
like gospel
No,
foundation.
they
I didn't know
don't.
I didn't know what to expect. And so here I am up on this special Sunday. They was having some special event. I'm on this special Sunday
Yeah.
and I'm singing this Hezekiah Walker. And in rehearsal, like, first of all, they had to continuously turn my mic down because I'm blasting to the rafters. I'm ready to
Ah,
shout. I'm doing all the ad libs.
yeah.
And I remember the sound guy, then he walks up to me. He was like, honestly, he's like, I've been at this church for probably 30 years. He said, I have never heard somebody sing in this church like that. And
What?
he's like, I don't even know what to do with you.
Oh. I mean,
And I'm like,
just unmute my
but
channel.
exactly, mute my channel. You got to do something. You got to figure it out. There was feedback coming up off the monitors. It was horrible sound for a good 30
Uh,
minutes there doing the set. But I
okay.
will say that you are right about that. Like, it
Mm.
takes that bold move
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to be
Right.
able to just say, our people need this.
Mm-hmm.
Our people want this.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to incorporate these sounds in our spaces.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
and so let's just do it. And I think that was
Yeah.
her just saying, you know what, let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I don't have to talk to nobody about it. Let's just rip the Band-Aid
Right.
off. Let's
Right.
just go for it. Come on out,
Yeah.
Lawrence, and sing this song for
Yeah.
us.
I mean, it's it's music that glorifies God. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I know there are different cultures, in different contexts, and the CRC church is, quite traditional, and they might not be used to singing gospel music, but I know that a lot of the folks that attend those churches, if they were exposed to that, they would love it. They would enjoy
Oh,
it. They'd be
100%.
able to engage with it.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's this philosophy like, okay, let's just keep doing it like we've been doing it,
Right.
right? And it's like, well, that doesn't mean that's the best way to do it. And that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't also mean that, if it's new, it's better. But it's just the willingness needs to be there. You need to be
Yeah,
willing.
I would agree.
And I mean, if you have like a heart for it and you feel the spirit prompting you, it's like, do it, and
Right.
then, yeah, come what may.
Okay. Last question. So we can wrap up here.
Okay.
Acoustic worship style.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Phil Wickham or
Mm.
Jeremy Camp?
Oh, I haven't listened to Jeremy Camp in a long time.
I know, right?
Yeah, I used to listen to his rock albums back in the day. He has some good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Um, Corey Asbury has a lot of good acoustic stuff too.
He does.
Very good. Yeah, Phil Wickham, I think for sure in that comparison. Yeah, I think Phil Wickham
Yeah.
has some really good acoustic content out there. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like his music is more playable, in a
Yeah,
church context. So, yeah,
that's true too.
yeah,
When I think of like your style on stage,
yeah.
it's definitely the Phil Wickham vibes.
Yeah, I'd say so. A little bit. Yep, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's the most popular song that we always sing at church?
well, it used to be "This Is Amazing Grace," "This
Of
is
course.
amazing grace." That
Mm-hmm.
we did that song for years, and now he has like that "This Is Our God" song. This is
Yep.
our God. Um,
Yep.
yeah, he's putting out a lot of good music. He really is. Yeah, he has a new
Is he the one
song.
who sings um Your love is greater,
Yeah, that's
your
an older
love is
one, but
strong?
yes,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Your
We
love
always sung that
awakens
one.
me. Yeah.
Your love awakens is yes.
Yeah.
And when I first heard that song, I was like, if this is not Paul, I don't know what is. I was somebody call Paul, let him know that his music just got stolen.
They took it from me. Yeah. No, that was when I was quite young when that song came out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We all were in our nice little fun times.
Early 20s. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay. So now that we got through that,
Yeah.
what is one thing as we wrap up
Yeah.
that you love about leading worship?
Mm.
And then two, what is one thing that you feel like really challenges you to stay?
To stay in ministry
To stay
specifically.
in ministry.
Yeah. Um, okay. So, what I love about leading worship is, frankly, I love to worship.
Mm,
Like that is how I primarily, engage with God. Like I'll just turn on some worship music and I just feel like I can connect with God on a level that I might not be able to with prayer, meditation, fasting. All those disciplines are really good and I try to
hmm.
incorporate them, but there's something about worship that just speaks to my heart more than,
Yeah.
you know, anything else. And I just want others to experience that. It's like, because I mean, we've talked about this, like worship is an overflow of what God's doing in you,
Right.
and if you're worshiping God and you're experiencing his presence in a powerful way, you want to bring that to others,
Hmm.
and you want to bring that grace, that peace, that power to other people. Um, and that's what I get to do on
Yeah.
Sundays. And it's like, yes, I love that.
That's
Um,
good. To piggyback, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I just want to piggyback up on that.
yeah,
We always talk about that just offline, and that's something that I repeat often
yes,
everywhere that I go. That what you are presenting on that platform is minute compared to
yes,
everything that happens in your house, everything that
yes,
happens in your relationship with God, where people cannot see.
exactly.
Um, I remember saying, if you think that I worship good on stage, you should see
Mm,
me in my living room.
mm, mm,
You should see
exactly.
me in the car.
Mm,
Number one, it's carefree. It is open. It is how I worship. It is my time with God. But more importantly, it is my time with God, where
mm,
it's just Him and I. It
mm-hmm.
is just me communing with the Father. And there are a lot of worship leaders, and you can always tell who have really good stage presence,
Yes.
but they have no good God
They
presence,
have no power. No
no
power.
power.
Yeah.
because they have not spent time with God. And
Oof.
so everything that they're saying and everything that they're singing must be rehearsed because they aren't
Exactly.
getting any fresh manna.
Mm.
And I think it's important for us as worship leaders that we stay before God, that we stay in an atmosphere of worship, because it's not
Yes.
just something that we do on Sundays,
Mm.
but it's something that we're doing every single day. And so you can't pray for me from that stage if you cannot pray for yourself in your living room.
Mm.
Sometimes my best worship experience, my most powerful, my most impactful worship experiences happen while I'm washing dishes.
Mm-hmm. Ah,
It happens while I'm driving home from work.
in the
God
mundane.
decides to give me a download. I feel the presence of God, and now I've got to worship. And so, what happens on stage is you see the overflow from my time all week in God's presence.
Exactly.
And that way, when I'm leaving Sunday, yes, I'm leaving everything up on stage, but I am
Yeah.
not empty. I'm not
No.
drained. I
No.
gave you the overflow.
Exactly.
I can worship and praise in front of other people out of the overflow, but it's important that you have that personal relationship and connection with God. I'm sorry, I don't mean to preach, but I thought that that was a good
It's
moment
critical.
to remind all of us that
Yes.
that's what it's about.
Yes.
What you are showcasing on Sunday morning. I'm so tired of going to church to see a show.
Mm.
I'm over it. I'm over the
Mm.
talent shows. I'm over the
Mm.
lotteries. I am over it. I am over the Price is Right mentality, where if
Mm.
you show up on Sunday, you turn around 3 times, God will bless you by Tuesday. I'm tired
Mm.
of that.
Mm.
What I want is a real relationship with God where my heart is changed.
Mm.
And if I am going to be in front of people preaching the message of Jesus Christ that has changed my heart, how can it not change your heart?
Mm.
And in the event that it is not changing your heart, it won't be because my heart hasn't been changed. It won't be
Exactly.
because my spirit hasn't been arrested by the creator of the universe.
Mm.
It will be because of your own lack of understanding or your own gravitation or your own
Yeah.
grappling of what is being put out. But I
Yeah.
promise you, as long as I have breath in my body, this is the message that I can preach. This is the
Yeah.
gospel.
Yeah.
This is what I can do. This is what I'm made for. And that, I think, is extremely important for us as worship leaders and
Mm.
musicians. Even if you're not a worship leader, but you're singing in a
Yeah.
Christian space, you're
Yeah.
singing in a gospel space where you're singing about something that's bigger than you,
Mm-hmm.
that has a greater impact than you could ever have,
Mm-hmm.
and that is eternal,
Mm.
then I think it's important that you take that a lot more seriously than we tend to do, where the
Yeah.
only time God
Yeah.
hears from you is on Sundays. No, 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 no. It should
Mm.
be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, especially Saturday thing, because I need a
Mm.
double portion. So that
Yes.
way I can pour out whatever my overflow is on
Yes. On
Sunday. And I think
Sunday.
that's important.
And and I'm like you said, I'm tired of going to church services and being a spectator. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like the spectator worship culture. I want to be a
Mm-hmm.
participator in what God is doing. And I want to
Right.
experience the power of God. Yeah, but you
Mm-hmm.
can't have the power without the presence. And so often I'm going into rooms and there's no presence. It's just production. And I'm like,
That part.
I don't want it. I don't want it anymore. I want the presence. I
No.
want the power of God because that's what's going to change us. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. What's the
Yeah.
one thing
Yeah. That's
that you
good.
think will make you wanna, that challenges you to stay?
Yeah. Honestly, being in a healthy church is so critical, being in
Hmm.
ministry. Um, staff culture is absolutely key. You just need to
Hmm.
be, in a church that has a healthy staff. And, thankfully, I have a wonderful staff here. I have an amazing executive pastor, great lead pastor, great team here. And it just makes me love serving here.
That's good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of toxic churches out there, toxic environments. And,
Oh yeah, we know about
yeah, we sure do. And so,
them.
yeah, I think that's critical, to longevity in a church, is just having a healthy staff. Um, and then, just the community at large, if you feel connected, at the church. And ever since I got here, I mean, the people are just amazing.
Yeah.
And the relationships I've developed, over the past 5, 6 years have been awesome. And that's what really makes me stay. It's not really the job I do necessarily, even though I love it. It's the
Hmm.
relationships, that
To
I've developed.
relationships.
Yeah, with the staff and then with the people that attend here.
Yeah. We even see that in the private marketplace. that
Right.
people are willing to stay where they don't feel like they're being paid what they're worth. They're still
Mm,
willing to stay
yes.
because of the environment,
Yeah, exactly.
because of
Yeah.
the people that they are around,
Yeah.
and
Right.
because of what they get to do. And so it's always good to hear, especially in the spaces of church and
Mm.
Christian culture, where we know, and I'm not saying, don't become a worship leader if you want to be a millionaire. Nobody ever has.
No.
Nobody ever has.
Yeah.
Um, and so it's definitely not about the money
Yeah.
with worship
No.
leaders. And even in the gospel space or the Christian space, you're not making a ton of money. It's too much traffic out there, and it's
Right. Right.
it's not enough people to
Exactly.
be consumers of that kind of music.
Yeah.
So if you're doing it because you want to get paid, you're already starting off on the wrong foot. But I
Yeah.
can promise you that every day you'll be fulfilled.
Mm.
If that's your call and if that's where God wants you to be, He'll
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Your gift will make room for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't even speak on that. I mean, I feel called. Obviously, that's the priority. That's the part that keeps me here more than anything else. I mean, certainly the
Yeah.
staff culture and the community here that helps, like I just mentioned. But the calling that I feel like I have from God, and I've had a lot of doubts over the years, and I've had to have affirmation from other people and from God Himself, like this is where I want you. But when you get that
Mhm.
affirmation from God, it's like, yeah, I'd rather be doing this. Like I don't
Right.
want to do anything else, even if I feel burnt out. If this is where God is calling me, this is where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Stay in His will. Stay in His will.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Paul, I know you are always putting out projects and
yeah,
albums and this, that, and the third. What you got new going on this time?
yeah. So I've been putting a little music out on Spotify. I have like a personal artist page under Paul Klemme, and I do a lot of R&B music on that just for fun.
Hmm.
But I'm starting to
For fun.
do.
Paul is so humble. Paul is so humble. When I tell you, he is just incredible at what he does. I remember when I first heard an R&B record from Paul, I'm like, first of all, this white boy should not have this kind of sound. And second of all, the fact that he does, I just think is incredible. So, but yes, go
Thanks
ahead.
for
Yo,
saying
on
that.
Spotify, you were saying.
Thanks for saying that. I'm also starting to do a little worship music on the side, and I'm
I love
thinking
that.
about releasing something as Life Change Church, possibly. Maybe even
Hmm.
doing like a live recording soon, kind of like what we did with that one
Yeah.
band that came in. We did that gospel recording.
Yes.
So I'm thinking about doing something like that, maybe in the next couple years as something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if y'all need a good backup singer,
Oh,
I'm real good.
you just be on hold.
I will love to be a part of something like that,
Yeah.
because I love Life Change Church, and what you're doing down there at Life Change is just it's unique in and of itself.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I think having somebody, especially just our age,
Yeah.
leading a church like that, leading a ministry like that, it's just incredible. It's incredible to see from music intern, the guy I'm standing next
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
now worship leader and as a worship pastor. And pastoring is a whole different ball game.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't
You
even
know,
talk
I
about
I
that. Yeah.
like what I get to do, and that is basically I'm the itinerant worshiper. Like, hey, I'm
Right.
just going over here to this
Right.
church. I'm going over here to this.
Right.
But when you have to pastor, you're shepherding the flock, and you are dealing
Yeah.
with people. You're dealing with situations and emotions,
Exactly.
and all of that. So it's a
Yes.
different ball game. And not only that,
Yes.
but you are shepherding them spiritually as well,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
which
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's a step above. And so
Yeah.
I appreciate all of the hard work you're doing. I'm sure that they do as well. If you are out there, go check out all of Paul's music, all of Paul's videos. Listen, I promise you that you will not be disappointed in anything. I have not heard one record that he has produced or that he has sung that is disappointing. As a matter of fact, we definitely got to get in the studio later this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
You and your amazing, just super talented wife.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we got to get both of y'all in the studio. We all, the three of us, got to get in the studio
Yeah.
later this year
Yeah.
and put out some stuff, because I'm excited to see what can happen with that,
Oh.
and blending all of those sounds.
Yeah. Yeah. We will. We will.
Yeah,
We're gonna make
yeah.
it happen for sure.
Absolutely. Well, all of his contact information is in the links in the description below. So be sure to check that out. You can follow Paul wherever you can follow him. All of those links are in the description below as well. Or go to church. Check him out. Check out the church Facebook page, YouTube page. Do you guys have a YouTube page?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
new,
So,
but we are on YouTube now. Yeah.
okay. Well, check all of that out. Amazing people, amazing church. I have been there personally, so I'm telling you, they're just incredible. They're so soft spoken, so kind hearted. I like everything that goes on down there. So thank you so much, Paul, my brother, for joining
Yeah.
me for this interview. I'm very excited to see what's ahead, and
Yeah.
we're gonna be watching. We're gonna be checking you out.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for having me.
All right, see ya.